Rarely have we seen a takedown of a league commissioner as calmly or efficiently delivered. The fact that it came from Nafisa Collier, one of the league's best players and most respected voices, only amplified its impact.
Scott Van Pelt just absolutely schooled the WNBA commissioner. And honestly, it wasn't even close. On ESPN, SVP pretty calmly just dismantled Cathy Engelbert's leadership, or really, the lack of it. And you know what? Fans everywhere are totally buzzing about it. When someone as respected as Van Pelt calls things out like that, it really matters. So question for you, is it time for Cathy Engelbert to step down?
The response from WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert came in the form of a statement, which is itself a statement, but not one Engelbert should aspire to make. When a star player says directly, "We have the worst leadership in the world and you are the leader," your response that you're disheartened that your perspectives differ makes me wonder if you heard what Fee said. Because it's not differing perspectives. It was a direct...
Listen, this all feels like a direct call for her job. The WNBA has been in the spotlight more than ever, right? We've got Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Paige Bucher's hype, and so much noise around this wild season. But here's the thing. Instead of all that momentum building up, what's the big headline? It's not record ratings. It's not some amazing finals matchup. Nope, it's Scott Van Pelt on ESPN, just torching Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. And he did it in that classic Van Pelt way. Calm, surgical, almost polite. But underneath, absolutely devastating.
Collier said, "I've earned this platform," which she has, and said, "I don't care what the fine is," which, if I hear her correctly, is to say you have nothing to threaten me with. The chorus of voices of current stars in the WNBA, which echo Collier's sentiment, didn't have a single opposing voice.
Why did all this happen? Well, Nafisa Collier lit the fuse earlier this week. Her exit interview basically called the league's leadership the worst in professional sports. And get this, she didn't just throw some shade. She flat out exposed a private conversation where Engelbert allegedly said Caitlin Clark should be grateful for the WNBA, because without it, she wouldn't be making any money. Excuse me? What? Did Cathy Engelbert seriously miss the entire Iowa era? Did she miss Clark's huge NIL empire that actually dwarfed what most WNBA vets make in a full season? All before Clark even declared for the draft.
As for what Engelbert is alleged to have said to Collier, if she actually suggested Caitlin Clark should be grateful for what she makes off the court, that's preposterous. Did you miss the Iowa years? Clark is the Tiger Woods tide that lifts all boats. And we know this show is proof. The highest rating we have ever had followed one of her games at Iowa. The WNBA has benefited from her presence more than the other way around, even though this year for Caitlin Clark was essentially lost.
So, SVP really honed in on that comment. He pointed out something super obvious that seemed to fly right over the commissioner's head. Caitlin Clark is the rising tide lifting the WNBA, not the other way around. The league is benefiting way more from Clark than she is from them. And Van Pelt dropped the receipts. ESPN's own highest ratings for college women's basketball were all tied to Caitlin Clark. The All-Star Game. Clark drew more eyes than anyone else. And yet, the commissioner is out here implying Clark should just bow down and say thank you. That's not just tone deaf, it's totally delusional. SVP really sharpened the knife then. He didn't yell or rant, he just laid it all out there.
Post from Elena Deladon on Instagram, who said, and I quote, "It's the care for the human part for me. I'm not sure Cathy knows I've retired. Heard from everyone but her." And I don't like to pile on, that's not my thing. But when a player is beloved, respected, and decorated as Deladon retires as a multiple MVP, league champion, 7-time All-Star, and member of the W25, which celebrated the top 25 players in the league's first 25 years, you throw that woman a parade. To fail even the most basic and decent things to do, which is to reach out to say thanks, which by the way couldn't be easier to do, is to fail the...
Now, he brought up Elena Deladon too. We're talking about a multiple-time MVP, a league champion, one of the top 25 players in WNBA history. She recently retired. And what did she say that she heard from absolutely everyone? Fans, players, coaches, everyone except Cathy Engelbert. Read that again. One of the most respected veterans in league history retires, and the commissioner can't even send a text. That's not leadership. That's just plain negligence. Scott Van Pelt called it exactly what it is, a failure to perform the most basic, decent duties of the job. You reach out, you say thank you, you celebrate your stars. It costs literally nothing, and it tells the players you actually care. But Cathy couldn't even be bothered. And then, when she was called out, she responded with a super bland statement about being disheartened and committed to collaboration. SEBVP nailed it. The thing is, this isn't about different perspectives. This is about the commissioner being called out directly as the problem.
According to Sportico, franchise valuations have soared. Players want more money, and the CBA expires at the end of this month. This was a whole lot more than just a shot across the bow. The WNBA Finals begin this Friday, and we typically hear from Adam Silver on the eve of the NBA Finals. Cathy Engelbert has got to do more than say she's...
What's more, here's the part that just makes it even worse. Not one single voice has come out to defend Engelbert. Not a player, not a coach, not even some random intern from the league office. Nothing. Instead, we've seen a whole chorus of players echoing Collier's words. Lexi Hull backed her up. Sophie Cunningham flat out blasted Engelbert, calling her the most delusional leader our league has seen. Even Gino Auriemma, who rarely agrees with anyone, said the so-called physicality of the WNBA is ruining the game. When everyone from rookies to Hall of Fame coaches is saying the same exact thing, you definitely have a problem, and here's the kicker. Van Pelt pointed out this isn't just noise. This isn't just a spicy soundbite. This is all happening right before the CBA negotiations. The collective bargaining agreement is up, and players have had enough of being underpaid, ignored, and told to just be grateful. When one of your biggest stars calls the league leadership the worst in the world, and another respected vet says she's proud of her for speaking out, that's not business as usual. That's a full-on rebellion. Scott Van Pelt gets it. He said this wasn't just a shot across the bow. This was Collier basically telling the league, fix it, or we'll blow it all up. And that's not hyperbole. The players have serious leverage now. Caitlin Clark isn't just some average prospect. She's a walking economy. She brings in sponsorships, TV ratings, and ticket sales that the WNBA has literally never seen before. And if Engelbert truly believes the league is bigger than the players driving all that revenue, she's either completely out of touch or just willfully blind. Now, let's talk about the officiating. Because Van Pelt didn't let the Caitlin Clark angle slide here either. He called out how absurd it is to say Clark owes her success to the WNBA. Everyone knows it's actually the opposite. Clark's brand was absolutely massive before she even stepped foot in the league. Her NIL deals, her TV ratings, her ticket sales at Iowa, they all proved that. She brought that value with her. The WNBA didn't build Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark boosted the WNBA. To downplay that is not just foolish, it's like self-sabotage. Meanwhile, SEBVP also highlighted something subtle, but super powerful, the unanimity of it all. Not a single player came out to defend Engelbert. Instead, more and more voices just piled on, from Lexi Hull to Sophie Cunningham and vets across the league. Even coaches like Cheryl Reeve and Becky Hammon have been fined for criticizing the league's officiating and leadership. When the criticism is this widespread, and the response from the top is this weak, that's just a recipe for disaster. Look, let's talk about optics, because Van Pelt totally gets how much that matters in sports. Right before the finals, instead of all the hype around the actual matchup, what's dominating the headlines? It's players rip commissioner, coaches fined, and stars call leadership the worst in sports. That's not exactly building excitement, is it? It's building resentment. SEBVP made it clear. You can't have this level of public discontent without accountability right at the top. And here's where Scott really drove it home. He said the league is at a flashpoint. Franchise values are skyrocketing, expansion is on the table, media rights are worth billions. This is supposed to be the WNBA's golden era, but instead the commissioner is under fire. Players are angry, and fans are wondering if they can even take the league seriously. That's just not sustainable. That's not leadership. That's a total failure to capitalize on momentum that should be historic. The way SVP phrased it was brutal in its simplicity. He said when a player like Nafessa Collier says, "We have the worst leadership in the world," that's not just a perspective. That's a direct call for your job. And he's right. You can't spin that. You can't hide from it. You either prove them wrong with action, or you resign. Plus, here's the uncomfortable truth that Van Pelt kind of danced around, but everyone knows it. Adam Silver is absolutely watching. The NBA subsidizes the WNBA. The NBA literally props it up financially, and Silver has a huge vested interest in making sure the WNBA doesn't just implode. If ESPN personalities like Stephen A. Smith and Scott Van Pelt are openly questioning the commissioner's future, how long before Silver steps in and actually makes a move? Fans are totally connecting the dots too. The officiating is terrible. The commissioner doesn't talk to players. Injuries are piling up. Stars are retiring without anyone from the top even acknowledging it. Players are getting fined for just speaking the truth. And now, Caitlin Clark, the golden goose, is being dragged into controversy all because Engelbert decided to minimize her value. It's like the league is tripping over its own feet at the very moment it should be sprinting forward. CVP wasn't just analyzing, he was sending a major warning: fix this, or risk losing everything you've built. And honestly, he's right. If the WNBA can't keep its stars healthy, if it can't protect players from bad officiating, and if it can't even celebrate its legends, then why should fans believe the league is serious about growth? So, that's why Van Pelt's takedown resonated so strongly with people. He didn't rant, he didn't scream, he didn't make it about himself. He just calmly laid out the facts. And those facts were absolutely devastating. You had Collier's words. You had Della Dunn's retirement. You had Clark's undeniable value. The whole officiating crisis. The complete silence from leadership. Put it all together, and it paints a picture of a league being sabotaged by its own commissioner. And the reaction online totally proved it. Fans were nodding along. Players were retweeting Collier's comments. And even casual viewers who don't normally follow the WNBA were saying, "Wow, this is a mess." When your reputation is that damaged, a bland press release about being disheartened just isn't going to cut it. Scott Van Pelt didn't scream or rant. He simply told the truth, and it really stung. When players, fans, and ESPN's biggest voices all agree the WNBA has a leadership crisis, it's just impossible to ignore. So what happens now? Does Cathy Engelbert step down, or does Adam Silver push her out? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.